Episode 5 of XO, Kitty starts with Dee and Kitty trying to cohabitate with each other. They decided to work with each other as friends, but Kitty states that his relationship with Yuri will make it difficult for her. Dee is about to tell her the truth, but she leaves him alone. Kitty and Q are on their way to class, but Q notices that she cannot stop talking about Alex being her half-brother. Q asks Kitty to confront Alex during the yearly Chuseok break when all the other Korean students will be going back home, leaving the EXPATs behind. Gina tells the students how Chuseok is an important festival for South Koreans. Kitty is excited to celebrate the festival, but Professor Lee shocks her when he gives an F grade on her test, asking her to make time for studying during the break. On her way to her next class, Kitty talks to Alex and invites him to an exclusive dinner she's arranging for the EXPATs. Alex promises to show up if Kitty was taking the effort to cook, which gets Kitty to go grocery shopping. Minho runs into Kitty at the convenience store and takes over the cooking for Chuseok on behalf of Kitty. Kitty learns that Minho was talking to an idol in training who will soon be his girlfriend. Meanwhile, things are not great at the hand house where Yuri's parents keep fighting even during the holidays. Yuri brings up Kitty's mother with Gina and the school principal gets defensive. In the dorm room, Kitty is shocked to see that Minho is such a great cook and the two share a moment with each other while talking, as Dee mentions dealing with the loss of her mother. Kitty makes up her mind to reach out to Dee, who is back at home with his family. Meanwhile, Yuri joins Dee at his family home for dinner with his father and sister. Yuri brings a gift for Dee's mother and he tells Yuri that his mother had passed away 3 years ago. She realizes that she does not know a lot about Dee but spends the rest of dinner trying to get along with his family. Kitty bonds with Minho and the two are somehow having fun together. During the EXPAT Chuseok dinner, Madison is obsessing over Minho while Alex shows up with Professor Lee, who is at the dinner to monitor the students who are still on campus. The dinner is awkward at first, but Kitty forces Minho to sit with Alex. Kitty raises a heartfelt toast to her mom and the families of all other EXPATs. Kitty gets to bond with Alex and tells him more about his family. Minho decides to leave the dinner early to meet his idol girlfriend but ends up with an upset stomach on the way there. During dinner, Kitty learns from Professor Lee that most East Asians were lactose intolerant, which has them avoid mashed potatoes she made with goat cheese in it. Kitty gets an sauce text from Minho asking for her help. She recalls having him taste some of the mashed potatoes and rushes to help. Kitty uses her skills and convinces Minho's trainee girlfriend to reschedule their date for a different day. She reads the note from Kitty to Dee and decides to keep the necklace with herself. Yuri goes back home to see that her father had stood her mother up for dinner. She apologizes to her mother before going to her room. Kitty runs into Alex and is about to tell him the secret that they had the same mother. Alex shocks Kitty when he tells her that Professor Lee was his father. Kitty cannot process the fact that their mother dated Professor Lee, while Alex is shocked to learn that Kitty is his half-sister. The episode ends with Gina tearing up and burning the photo of her and Eve from the school yearbook. Episode 6 of XO, Kitty starts with Minho waking up from a dream of him making out with Kitty, which leaves him confused. Meanwhile, Kitty tries to prod Professor Alex into talking to Professor Lee about his paternity. Alex turns Kitty down and tells her that he does not want to force himself on Lee. He only wants to know more about his birth father. She tries to force him to talk to her sisters, but Alex asks Kitty to back off and study for her tests. Yuri is dressed for the party as well and lies to her mother that she's going on a date night with Dee. Gina is proud that Dee brings out the best in Yuri and is happy that her daughter is not getting into trouble. Yuri is sad about the fact that she's breaking her mother's trust and tells Dee how she feels bad about it. She takes Dee to Minho's party. Minho claims that the party was exclusive to his guests only, but Madison shows up, leaving him confused. Kitty makes it to the party with a totally different look and Minho is shocked about how attracted he is to her. Dee is also swooning over how pretty Kitty looks while Kitty longs for Dee. Kitty asks Q and Florian to distract her as Florian mixes some alcohol in her drink. Kitty scans the other guys at the club and tries to look for someone she can talk to. She spots Dee with Yuri and he tries to make a conversation with Kitty, but she ignores them and talks to a guy by the bar. The guy ends up badmouthing Yuri, so Kitty stands up for her, slamming him for talking badly about Yuri. Yuri, who is overhearing the conversation, is touched by Kitty's gesture. Meanwhile, Yuri and Dee end up bonding on the dance floor. Dee leaves the conversation to talk to Kitty and she tells him how he wasn't thankful for her gift. Dee is visibly confused. Kitty is annoyed that she can't seem to find anyone to date or kiss at the party and ends up calling Professor Alex to rant about it. Alex, who is on his run nearby, makes it to the club after their call is abruptly disconnected. A drunk Kitty ends up texting Professor Lee instead of Alex by accident and tells him that she's at a party. Kitty is about to kiss the rude guy who badmouthed Yuri, but Yuri comes in time to save her at just the right moment. Professor Lee calls Gina, who tracks Yuri's phone and learns the name of the nightclub the students were at. Dee asks Q and Florian to explain the gift that Kitty was talking about, and they reveal details about the necklace. Dee is sure Yuri is behind this and confronts Kitty about it. Kitty misunderstands Dee and assumes that he's trying to tell her how much he loved Yuri. Minho watches Kitty and Dee together and ends up kissing Madison out of spite. On the other hand, Kitty tells Dee that she's ready to find someone new, and Dee confronts Yuri about the necklace. However, the party is cut short when the teachers come to the club and most of the kids start fleeing. The next day, Kitty wakes up after a dream of her kissing Yuri as the episode ends.
Hey, top down on the 405. Half hour late, we on LA time.